So I hate to admit it, but yes, one time I fought my ex-husband's baby mama.
I found out my husband was cheating. I never confronted him, stayed with him another year while I planned the ultimate get back.
Get in my ex closet.
Welcome to Storytime TV, where we react to real life stories, real drama, and all the chaos people go through in relationships. And today's episode is all about exes. I know some of y'all still miss your ex, but before you text them back tonight, watch this episode first, because these stories might change your mind real quick. We're gonna react to wild ex stories, toxic moments, red flags, and relationship drama, while also learning a few lessons along the way. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the chaos. And don't forget to comment and subscribe before we jump into the first story.
I found out my husband was cheating. I never confronted him, stayed with him another year while I planned the ultimate get back. Before I moved the house off of the land while he was at work, that phone that I never checked, I got logged into the cell phone bill. I found that there were 3 important women: the 23-year mistress, the woman who had the 2 kids for him that were ages 5 and 7, and there was a female in the hood who had just had a newborn. How did I get the passcode to his cell phone, you ask? I set up a mirror perfectly in the bedroom near the bed where he would sit and hold his phone to unlock his phone to scroll. I was able to get the password, and one night he came in a little too full and he was unaware of what was going on. So I went through the phone and saved all of these things to my phone and started getting statements with all of his outgoing texts. Those checking and savings accounts that I paid little attention to, I got logins to those too. He was waiting for a large settlement to come in that he had been waiting on for 5 years that was due to come in 3 months. I started moving that money in small increments where he would not notice. I put the house up for sale on the internet that Monday after the Saturday the 23-year mistress sent me the gallery of photos of them. I had purchased that home in cash with all of my own money, and his name was not on it. And there was a female in the hood who had just had a newborn. I reached out to her and we met up. She was a game runner. She thought she was about to run game on me, but I ran game on her. She was sued for alienation of affection. Because she was a willing participant in the demise of the marriage, she had to pay too. And she thought she was finessing me, but I knew that I would get double for my trouble. And then there was the 23-year mistress. I owed her something special. She made sure that when she let me know about their relationship, she also let me know that she always knew about me, always knew about my kids, but she could care less. I also found out he was cheating with one of her friends, so I made sure she knew about her best friend. And the videos of him and her friend in the act must have really did something to her. She ended up transferring job locations, popped up at his job with him and the friend, which was his other woman. There was a big fight and scuffle, and they all lost their jobs. I never said anything to him, remember? So when he came home, he was upset and angry. He kept leaving every day he was going to work, and I knew he had got fired, but he just couldn't say anything. He didn't know where any of it was coming from. I disconnected his phone while the house was being moved. I changed my phone number so he couldn't make contact. I went no contact and never talked to him again. And married his mistress cousin and made his mistress my cousin-in-law. Hey, cousin. It's just never fun when the rabbit got the...
Wait a minute, hold on. This really played the game better than everybody. She ran a whole strategy on him, his baby mamas, and somehow walked away with the money to that revenge was actually crazy. But Hugh, this is exactly why people say an ex is an ex for a reason. Moral of the story? Be careful who you play with, because sometimes the comeback is worse than the breakup.
Every day somebody asks me for a story time from my marriage. So I'm gonna just give y'all a story time on what this nigga told me during the most fucked up time of my life. So we separate. Day 1, I'm crying. Day 2, I'm crying. Day 3, I'm crying. Day 4, I'm outside. Day 5, new nigga. Day 6, new nigga. All right, so I go on a date, y'all. It's around my birthday. I only been moved out the house maybe like 2-3 weeks. I go on a date with this boy, y'all, and I loved it. And I forgot what it felt like to go on a date and genuinely just enjoy yourself. It was fresh. It was new. I'm coming from a country boy that stay in the house where I'm just in that bitch cooking and cleaning and slaving to somebody who just want to take me out and show me off, and I don't got to do shit every motherfucking day. So every day we just going out to eat. We really just having a ball. We're not together, but we really just having fun. But so me and my ex-husband decide we're gonna go ahead and get divorced. So I tell him, shit, go ahead, file. The minute you file, I'm gonna sign them papers. Y'all, he filed. I signed the papers. I hit my boy up. Yes, I didn't sign the papers because I come back off a trip. I didn't sign my divorce papers. I'm feeling so good, y'all. Literally up on the high horse. I'm really like, and not even on no cocky shit. I just felt good. I'm getting out of this marriage, fucking with somebody that's fucking with me. This shit is cool. It felt good. Y'all, 3 days before my divorce was set to be final for us to go to court, we had a counseling session set up. Mind you, 3 days before this, the boy that I'm dating, the one I'm saying was having fun doing this, y'all, he get killed. Fast forward, my husband still wants, husband at the time, he still want to do this therapy session. This man got in there and looked me dead in my motherfucking face and said, and now you lost your husband and your new nigga. How do you feel? And all I wanted to say was, Tasha, please. I just lost the love of my life. Show some respect.
I didn't hear that.
That's how I got knocked off my high horse.
Story time. This story is about when I found out my ex-husband was trying to cheat on me, or just cheat on me another time. I don't know how many times. So we were invited to a wedding. And at this wedding, I knew the bride and I knew one of the bride's friends, and that's it. And so we went to this wedding, and you know, as you do, you meet other people. And I met this woman, and she had mentioned about working at the Ferrari store, and it was just, we were all talking, so somehow I did grasp that. Now hold on to that part. So maybe a month or two prior, I had bought matching little red Nokia cell phones. He had one and I had one. And the bill came, and I'm sitting down at the table and I'm going over the bill, and of course, you know, I don't know all the numbers he's calling, but whatever. So I'm going over, I'm cross-referencing and seeing, making sure everything's fine. And I saw this number on his phone that for whatever reason, I don't know, I called, and it said, the person answered the phone, she said, Ferrari of San Francisco. And I said, oh, I'm sorry, I dialed the wrong number. It didn't click. And I dialed the number again. Same answer, Ferrari of San Francisco. Still didn't click. I called the third time. And when I called the third time and she said Ferrari of San Francisco, that's when the light went off in my head. And I thought, oh. I said, sorry, misdialed. That was it. So then I called that one friend that we had in common, the bride and myself, and I said, hey, you know, this gal, because she knew her also. I said, this gal, do you have her home phone number? And she said, yeah. So she gave me her home phone number. I look at the bill, and there it is. It's on there also. So then he hadn't come home from work, and I don't know, this is a long time ago. I don't remember how long it took for him to come home. But when he came home, I was sitting on the chair waiting for him to come in. And he said hello. And he was going in through his regular routine of greeting. And I said hi. And I didn't get out of the chair. And I said, so are we buying a Ferrari? And he said, no. No. And I said, well, I was going over the bill. And I had several calls on the bill to the Ferrari of San Francisco dealership. Well, I don't know. So then I said nothing, and I walked into the bedroom, and then I called the number, and the gal, I asked her, she answered the phone, and I said, hi, this is who I am. What relationship are you having with my husband? And she said, I'm so sorry, I'm not having a relationship with your husband. He's trying to have one with me. And she was very sweet. She said, I want nothing to do with this, and I'm so surprised he's calling me when he has someone like you. Very gracious. And I said, would you mind if I put him on the phone? And she said, go right ahead. So I put him on the phone. I called him. I said, oh, telephone. And he's like, oh, and he took the phone. And then you hear him go, oh, yeah, just small, meaningless, blah. And then he hangs up the phone. And he looks at me and he says, how dare you call her? How dare I call her? So this is where I'm going to end this story right now, because it was rather interesting what happened after that. But that's the story.
Whew. The first story was crazy. Sis really ended up losing both her ex and her new relationship at the same time. My brother humbled her real quick. And the second story? Her husband thought he was being slick and smart, but Sis figured everything out in the end. Moral of the story? Don't play games in relationships. And always move smart because the truth eventually comes out.
So this is story time on when I hid in my ex closet. And y'all will not believe what happened. How you just be playing around doing stuff and you really wasn't expecting something to happen, but some shit really happened. This is such a long ass story, but I'm gonna tell y'all because it's so funny now. And I can actually sit down and laugh about it now because that first one is shit funny. But now shit's funny and we're gonna laugh together. So we're gonna use code names because we not giving nobody no clout. We ain't doing that. So my ex is gonna be L, because that's what she took. And my sister was with me in this situation, which is even funnier. So we're gonna name her P because she was P. And it's one more person involved, but we're gonna name her Q because I had questions. I needed answers. So we got L, P, and Q. Now my sister, she went to the school that my ex went to, so it was the HBCU. And I didn't go there, but I was up there because my ex went there and my sister went there, so of course I'm there. But I went to a different school, but I was just always up there. So it's homecoming time and everybody outside is packed as hell at this school. And this is a lit school. I might tell y'all the school later, but I'm not gonna tell y'all the school now. But anyways, me and my ex was together for probably 5 months at the time before I decided to hide in her closet. And I'm not mad at all for hiding in that closet because honestly, I'm really glad I did hide in that closet. But anyways, y'all, so boom. It's homecoming night and we in her room. And my sister actually lived in her dorm as well, but she lived on the 3rd floor. My ex was on the 1st floor. So I'm in my ex room and we was gonna go to a party, so she was gonna get ready to put her clothes on. So she was like, I'm gonna take a shower. I'm like, cool, I'm gonna go to my sister's room, get myself get cute. She got in the shower before I left out the room, which was probably a dumb idea because I don't think that the idea of me hiding in her closet didn't come until she got in the shower before I left. So I'm like, damn. Let me just see what happened if she think I'm gone. And we gotta stop playing like that because I'm really glad that my intuition told me to hide in that motherfucking closet. So basically, she had a roommate. Her roommate was a white girl and it wasn't shit in her closet. And my ex, she had so much shit in her closet, but I had to think smart. I'm like, well, damn, if she got out the shower, I'm sure she's gonna go in her closet. So in actuality, I hid in the roommate closet. You go in the rooms and they got the 2 beds and the 2 closets. So I hid in her closet. I hid in the roommate closet. So I go in the closet and wait, rewind. She gets in the shower and my sis was with me, but I was like, you go wait outside and I'ma hide in the closet. But so we slammed the door to give her the impression that I left the room. But the whole time I was in the closet. Bitch, I'm nervous as fuck. Like, I don't know how long I'm gonna have to be in this closet. I'm just sitting there just thinking of all the dumbest things to think. So she was in the shower for a little minute. So when she finally got out the shower, I'm still in there, I'm texting my sister, she finna get out the shower. My last year irritated me. But anyway, she get out the shower and I'm trying to be so quiet. I'm trying to make sure my phone on silent. I'm hoping nobody called me, none of that. So she walks in her room and all I heard was, she gone now? No, bitch, I'm still here. But I'm in my head, I'm like, oh, she think I'm gone. I can't believe she think I'm gone. No, I'm still here, but let's continue. So she on the phone telling somebody she gone now. And I kid you not, less than a minute later, I hear a knock on this door.
Hiding in the closet is crazy. Sis was really risking her life for an old boo. I'm not gonna lie. That sounds like something people only do in middle school movies, but people still out here doing it in real life. Hopefully it was worth all that stress. Moral of the story: don't put yourself in dangerous situations for temporary feelings, because later on you might regret it. Stay safe out here.
So I hate to admit it, but yes, one time I fought my ex-husband's baby mama. I was dating him. They had a very young child. And yes, that should have been a red flag to me, but I was very young. He was pitting us against each other, which we later found out, and it was just a mess. Anyway, She came over to the house one day. She's drunk. She's bamming on the door. And he is just sitting there. And so I'm like, let her in. And he's like, no, she can't come in here. And so she's out there yelling, calling me Queen Kong and this and that. And anyway, he's just sitting there. So finally I say, well, open the door and just tell her that we're going to call the police if she doesn't leave. So he goes to open the door and she overpowers him, pushes him out of the way, comes bursting through the door, attacks me, knocks me down on the bed. And I'm like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Because I couldn't fight. I didn't know how to fight. So I push her off of me, somehow push her down onto the floor. Because mind you, she's a big girl too. And I get her down on the floor. I'm holding her down and I'm talking to her. And I'm like, listen, I don't fight over men. Truth was, I didn't fight at all because I didn't know how. But I was like, listen, I don't fight over men. This is silly. This is dumb. Let's talk about it. Let's talk this through. And she is down there smiling like a crazy person. So I'm like, what are you smiling about? Then I realized that my head is hurting. And I look at her. She's got a handful of my hair, my actual hair, not weave, not a wig, my hair in her hands because she has ripped my hair out of my head while I was talking. So I crash out. And I start to bam her head up and down on the floor. And he, all of a sudden, has the strength of Goliath because now he's pulling me off of her. She jumps up, runs out of the house, and I run out after her because now I'm really mad. You pulled my hair out, crazy pants. So we're on the porch. We're tussling again. She punches me in my face. And I've never been punched before in my life, and it hurt so bad. I was like, oh my God, is that what that feels like? So I swing around and now I'm in front of her. She's in front of the window that is broken because she threw a brick through it the day before and she gets cut on the window. So she is like, oh my God. And I'm like, let's cut this out. This is enough. And so she lunges at me again. She's not going to hit me again because that hurt. So I duck out of the way. She falls off the porch into some rose bushes and scratches her face all up. So meanwhile, the police are coming. They get there and she all of a sudden turns into this poor innocent little princess. And she's telling the police how I shoved her through a broken window and I busted her lip and she's got all these cuts on herself because I've just attacked her. And so I take the police over to the bush and I show them all the thorns on the roses. And I said, she fell over there and that's how she hurt herself. And she's drunk and she's belligerent and using that. I start using all these big words. And the police are like, ma'am, aren't you on no trespassing from this property? And I'm like, thank you, God. So they say she has to go to jail. They put her in the police car. She's in the police car, still yelling at me, calling me names, telling me how she's still sleeping with him, even though we're about to get married. And then I'm yelling at her saying, oh, well, isn't that a shame? You're still sleeping with him, but yet y'all are still not getting married. We're both just out there acting a fool. The police tell me that if I don't want to go to jail with her, I need to get my butt in the house. So that's what I did. Then she goes to jail. She uses her one phone call to call me, to tell me that her fine is $484 and she now knows that that's how much it costs to whip my ass and that as soon as she gets $484 again, she's coming back to do the same thing. She tells me I better not be at his house when she gets out of jail in the morning. So I was there in the morning on principle and she never showed back up for a while. Anyway, we fought back and forth like that for years, not physically, but through words, through letters, through the courts. It was horrible. And when we finally figured out that he was pitting us against each other, we started comparing notes and we became friends. And after I left him, we were cool ever since. And I never talked to him again until he passed away and I had to see him again in the casket. But that's a whole different story.
Whew, sis really went through some chaos. His ex-wife pulling up ready to fight and cause drama is actually crazy. Good thing you protected yourself and the situation didn't get worse. Thank God the cops came and helped calm everything down. Moral of the story, if a relationship is bringing too much drama, stress, or danger into your life, sometimes it's better to walk away. But anyway, we came to the end of today's episode. Let me know in the comments which story shocked y'all the most. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next episode of Storytime TV.